the net cash flow from the financing activities, then we get the cash flow for the year. This cash flow for the year, we will have the cash flow for the year, which we take the A, that is the net cash flow from the operating activities. We add for the B, which is the net cash flow from the investing activities, and we add for the C, which is the net cash flow from the financing activities, which will be able to get the cash flow for the year. And then we will be given the cash and cash equivalent at the beginning, and also the cash and cash equivalent at the end. So we want to look at the illustration, my good learners. Illustration here is question 5 of which sitting December 2022. So we want to look at the illustration. I will not delete or wrap my format here, but I will do the workings here so that we can paste whatever we have there. So we have illustration December 2022 question December 2022 question 5. So I will read the question. This is our past papers questions, and also we have the and analysis, which we have the statistics and also the revision book. So we have been told that the following trusted statement was extracted from the records of the Malum Limited, a public limited company, as at 30th April 2023. With the comparative of the year ended 30th April 2021. So we have been given the comparative statement of financial position for 2021 to 2022, which our main focus goes to the additional information number 1. We have been told that Malum Limited acquires some new plant during the year to 30th April 2022 at the cost of 1.8 million from a finance company. An arrangement was made at the date of acquisition for the liability for the plant to be settled by issuing a 10% loan. We have been also told that the value by which they exit the liability of plant was received from the company in. So we need to have that working, right? For me, working one. So in this statement, we need to know which sum account has been touched here and which one can help us. So there is acquisition of a plant which costing 1.8. There is no cash involvement here because they acquired through a finance program. So there is no cash there, but there is an item which has been acquired. And then, so in this case, we can open the plant account. No, that's not can enable us to open the plant account. Which plant is being grouped in property, plant through a finance equipment. So we will open the PPE, property, plant and equipment. As usual, we use T format. So balance brought forward. We have 2021 is 21. Just a minute. But we can't continue. Wanted to get the copy of this so that just a minute. Yes, I wanted to get a copy of this. So we have the balance brought forward, which is for 2021. We take the value of 2021. Our value is 27,450. Balance carried forward. Balance carried forward the 36,300. So you have to be keen here because if you look at this comparative statement of financial position, we have been given on the net book value. So our values here are the net book value. So whatever we have disposed here or whatever we have acquired should be right at a net book value. Even though this is the one we acquired, it is not in the net book value, but we can write finance. So we have a finance of 1,800. Remember, we have 3 zeros here. Have 3 zeros there. Then we have to look at which other note which affect the property, plant, and equipment. In this case, go to the note 2. The company motor vehicle Hulch light with a cost of 2.63 accumulated depreciation of 1.165 was disposed of during the year for the cash proceeds of 1.81. The profit on disposal has been included in other operating expense. So what happened to that? We dispose an asset which is costing 2.63. So we will not record that one because that one is the cost, and these are the net book value. These are the net book value. So we have to go and write the net book value of the disposed asset. So come here, write the disposal. We will take the cost, which is 26.30 minus 11.65. 11.65. Get your calculator. Get your calculator. 26.30, 11.65. You're getting 14.65. 14.65. Also, if this has been provided on the net book value, we also need to capture the depreciation there, which if you go to note number 3, depreciation charge on property, plant, and equipment during the year was 54,90,000 and was included in the cost of sale. The cost of sales. So you'll have depreciation here of 5490. So the balancing figure here, my good learners, is the cash paid. The balancing figure here is the cash paid, which will take the total. Let's take the total 27,450 plus. I know the credit will be more, so let's start with the credit. 1465 plus figure here, 490 plus 36, that 300. We get the total of 43,255. We subtract 27,450. Then we subtract 1,800. So we get the cash of 14,005. So this will be our cash paid to acquire an asset, which is this one. So I will grab there and put the cash here. I will put my cash here of 14,005, and then depreciation, we have been given depreciation here, which I will come here, put my depreciation of 5490. So we have already account 2 item. So we can now close this account. Close that account. Now close that account. Now go to the second, number 2. We have been told that we dispose an asset which there is a proceed. We dispose an asset with a proceed of 1.810 million. So that is the cash proceed which we're going to record in the investment side. Yeah, there is a cash proceed of 1810 because we have cut 3 zeros. So we will take 1810. So we have, and then this part also of note 2 will get either disposal or will get either profit on disposal or the loss on disposal. So let's see the disposal account. Let's have the disposal account. Which the cost or the PP is 2630 here. Cash, we have been told 1810. Accumulated depreciation, we have been told 1165. So let's see whether it is the profit or loss on depreciation. Let's get the total of our debit, the credit, and compare with the debit. So we will take 1810 plus 1165, which we get 2975. Also, this one is 2975. Subtract minus 2630, which we get the cash or the profit on disposal. The profit on disposal of that for 345. But this 345, what the accountant did, the profit on disposal has been included in other operating expenses. So accountant already has subtracted this one. Instead, which means we will not subtract here profit on disposal, but instead we will add back. So we will come here, put the profit on disposal, put the profit on disposal. So completely account for the note. Down to the note 2, the complete note 2. I don't think there is any other adjustment which you will need for the note 2. Now, over to note 3, we have done to the depreciation. So tick the 2. Note 1, we have not done the note 1 because we have the loan note there. And we have number 4, intangible asset was amortized during the year and amortization charge to profit and loss amount to 550. So we have amortization, so which will come here, 540 was amortization, 540 we add back. So let's open the intangible asset account. Let's open the intangible asset account. So the intangible asset account, which will have debit and credit. So go back to the assets. We have intangible balance brought forward, 6510. Balance carried forward is 6750. We have been told amortization is 540. We credit the amortization of 540. Credit the amortization of 540, and that the balancing figure will be the acquisition or the cash. So let's balance, which the debit, the credit is more. That is 540 plus 6150. We get the total of 6690, which will also have 6690 here, minus 6150. So we have, what is it? It is the same. Did we acquire any? So 540 plus 6750. This one should be 72, not 66. Should be 7290. Also, this one should be 7290. So subtract 6150. So we have the cash paid. The cash paid 1140. This is the cash paid to acquire amortization. So these are cash paid to acquire tangible assets. So you can delete this one for dividend received and then say cash paid, bracket intangible asset, tangible asset 1140. That is the cash outflow. Even this one is the cash outflow. Put in bracket. So we go to the note 4. 5 is for dividend shares. It ended April 2023. Malum Limited made a bonus issue of every 1 share for every 10 shares held by utilizing the share premium. So note 5. Shares, every 10 shares, you get one share, right?
Players, Kante, James, Chilwell, our Champions League final best performance, and we had absolutely no sympathy whatsoever. None. So do I have any sympathy for us right now? Absolutely zero. And to be honest with you, question. Do I feel like it's a good time to play Arsenal? I always like to play Arsenal. With Chelsea, and we always do well in these big games. Even when we've struggled, we do well in these big games. So I fancy us in this game big time. I want us to go on. I want us to absolutely smash them. And I feel really confident, with or without Odegaard, because I just think we're playing good football at the minute, and I think we're going to be right up for it. And they are conceding Arsenal, so it's going to be a really big battle. But I fully back us in this game. I really do.
I think if it was at the Emirates, I think it would be the shoe would be on the other foot. I think the fact Chelsea are at home here is why this could genuinely be quite perfect, because I think we kind of, Stamford Bridge to me seems to be getting like this spark back again. I think we've been missing it for so long, particularly under Potter. He's going to die if he comes anywhere near my nostrils again. Have you got your little racket? No, it's on charge in the kitchen right now. But I think Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, we're starting to get this, there's a vibe back again. And I don't like the word vibe, but that's actually the best way to describe it. People are turning up at the bridge now, getting excited. They're getting excited. There's a team that you can get behind. There is a system that is quite exciting to watch at times, which is why I've had to acknowledge today that we've looked a bit more inside the last couple of games. We've got to snap out of that ASAP. Particularly at the bridge, I think the fact that we can be so blistering on the wings, the fact that we've got the best player in the league, Cole Palmer, the fact that Nicholas Jackson scoring goals at Stamford Bridge for fun, this is... Yeah, at first I was like, maybe this isn't the right time to play Arsenal. Maybe this is the time
which is under additional information, but is number one to have not dealt with. But in case there's any adjustment,
the way that we approach Brighton,
so
the way that we went to Wolves and just absolutely blew teams away. And for me, the decision will be about, like you say, if Cucurella is able to play that left back, step up into that midfield and link up with Jadon Sancho, before that we have there, and the unpredictability that Chelsea will have by having like a runner and someone that can bomb up like Pedro Neto, will Arsenal know how to set up in this game? Will Arsenal be able to know where Chelsea are going to make passes to? Will Cole Palmer be able to drop deep again and then look at the positional player where Pedro Neto is? Could Reece James be the overlapper? Or do we give it to Sancho in those tight spaces? Draw the foul, draw the penalty, whatever. I think Chelsea needs to just be really confident here that we have got the firepower to just outgun the Gunners. That's what I think we've got to do. I think Chelsea have got to step up here, use the practice at Stamford Bridge, use the fact that Arsenal win this in 3 in the league and playing very, very average football all season long, and they've got key players out. You've got to smell blood. That's what we didn't do at Old Trafford. It was literally like a shark who's lost his teeth, lost his eyes, and there's flipping blood everywhere. There's a flipping container ship of dead sheep that's fallen in the ocean, and the shark ain't feasting and wondering why he's still hungry. That's what it was against Man United. It cannot be that again against Arsenal. It just can't.
Yeah,
You've got to beat them.
Yeah, no fear. The one thing I would say is that, sorry, this is just the thought I just had now, talking about those fullbacks again. Saka is by far their main threat this season. You know, all the goals and assists are going through him. And I do wonder if James might actually end up playing left back again because of that. Having James 1v1 against Saka rather than Cucurella actually might be preferable. I definitely don't want...
That's a smart thought.
Yeah, and I actually don't want Saka running 1v1 against Levi Cole either. So that having James reserve left-sided role might actually be the one. And again, you might see Cucurella not playing, which bothers me. It bothers me in an offensive sense. So it's how much do we try and mitigate what they do well, and how much do we try and emphasise our own strength? If we're going to emphasise our own strength, then we know that Cucurella-Sancho combination is really, really good. But I mean, we might see Jadon Sancho on the right in this game. I think he's really good on the right as well. So and he played there. I think he played there in the Champions League final for Dortmund, didn't he? So he can definitely play on that side. But yeah, mate, it's a game where you go into it and you think, no fear, let's absolutely go for them. And because it's at Stamford Bridge, I think that last game, it's very much a case of we struggle at Old Trafford. We've gone there, we've got a point. You never know what Man United side. On any given day, Man United can shock perform at Old Trafford, no matter how bad their performance is. I was talking to you before about this concept of variable change. I won't go into that. I think it's a bit too complicated. But basically, whenever you play them, I describe it as like your odds reset. It's like when you play the lottery. Every time you go back into the lottery, your odds reset. And it's not quite that straightforward because there's form and there's injuries and whatnot. But to an extent with Man United, I feel like you get that in those big matches because they can set up defensively, they can counter. And because we've got that frailty in Sanchez at the back, it's always going to give a counter-attacking team a chance to score a goal against them. So that is the issue against them. That is also the issue against Arsenal. But I really feel like, yeah, we might concede, but we can get on top of them and outscore them in this fight, in this match, like you say. It's having that confidence in our firepower and our ability to go out there and score goals.
You look at the three big games against so-called Big Six this season. We got beat 2-0 by Man City. Like, whatever. Man City, they had more players fit back then. Go to Liverpool, you lose 2-1. We didn't play that badly, but we kind of again went into our shell a bit. Man United 1-1, but like, they're not even really a Big Six. We drew with Forest 1-1. People were like, oh, you should be winning that game. Look at that. They've done incredibly well. Brighton, incredibly difficult to beat. But that's the game I look at. And I'm like, if I'm Maresca and I'm analysing what our strengths are, I think Maresca's obviously we know that he likes to look at the opposition, prepare game by game. If it was me, I'd be looking at that game against Brighton. And I would look at the fact that Brighton, a bit like Arsenal, they've got a lot of confidence. Brighton were really good at times in that first half at Liverpool at the weekend. Then Liverpool turned it on in the second half. And you know that Arsenal won't come, I don't think, to Stamford Bridge and sit back, because I think they know that that's just asking for trouble. And I think their fans now also will be there and they'll be like, no. We need to start scoring goals again. We need to start winning football matches. And you can't go to a team that have been so free scoring at times at Stamford Bridge and just sit back. But I do think Chelsea have got to look at that Brighton game and use
the deferred tax asset and the current.
I think now that you've got Caicedo in the form that he's in to protect that back line, I think what you said about James being the left back probably will be the case, actually, thinking about Bukayo Saka. I just think this is a big moment for Chelsea. And I know against United, I was like, this could be a season-defining match. But that game, it's okay. We can move on from the 1-1 draw. I'm over it now. You've given me enough positive today, Harry. I appreciate it. But I just think to be ahead of Arsenal with the games that we've got coming up afterwards, at this stage of the season, that's where we need to be. That's where this squad, with the money that we've spent, with the hiring of managers and restarting the project and all that nonsense, we've got to be in that top four. And if you look at the games after Arsenal, you've got Leicester away after the international break, early kick-off, and I love that. Then you've got Villa at home, who have been much of a muchness recently. That's also after they played Champions League. So that you favour us in that one as well. Then you've got a Southampton who have won one game all season. Then you've got Spurs, guaranteed 3 points. Then you've got Brentford after that. Like, Chelsea have got very winnable matches coming up. Yeah. So if you get this one out of the way, which again, having played like so many of the top teams, including if you include Forest and Brighton in that, we would have got this Arsenal game over and done with a lot of favourable fixtures to go in this like first half of the season. And to be ahead of Arsenal at that stage would be absolutely massive. But at the minute, I feel like my overarching view on it is the ship is semi-steady, but it's a little bit rocky.
Yeah.
Well, and I am a bit worried.
Yeah, well, we spoke about this period a few pods back, and we said this period is basically a season defining for us because it's a really difficult period. It's pretty much our most difficult period of the whole season. If you look at our Premier League fixtures to the end of the season, we won't go through a period this consistently difficult again with back-to-back fixtures. So no matter what happens, if we finish this period and we're in the top four, that's very exciting. But there is an opportunity to get fans really, really excited if we can turn that Arsenal game into a 6-pointer. If we can go and beat them in this game, then everything is to play for. And I'm including going for the title in that. Because, yes, if we beat there's everything to play for, mate. We're right in the mix. We've got a brilliant squad. We might even strengthen with Osimhen or someone like that in January. Liverpool, the only side that are clearly better than us right now with the injuries that City have. It's like they've now basically taken on our injury curse. And they've got an unbelievable injury list. So, yeah, if we can go out there and make it tell and come out of this period and be in third position, fourth position, whatever it is, within touching distance at the top, then you go, wow, we can really go on a run here. This is extremely exciting.
We're not far away, though. Like, we're not. I know I've gone from saying I'm slightly worried, but 7 points adrift at the minute. Liverpool, I think, are actually pretty good, but again, I worry outside of their starting 11 if they can sustain this. City, I think, are actually in a real pickle. I think the amount of injuries they've got, there's a lot there. Like, I'm not going to give them any sympathy again whatsoever because they're flipping win everything and I'm bored of it. And I want them to get relegated. But like, I do look at this and I'm like, well, why not? But like, you've got to win these matches. Like, you've got to beat Man United when they're playing that way. And I think right now you've got to beat Arsenal.
Well, one thing I do want to say is that I remember watching a Mourinho interview from back in the day, and I always remember this line he had where he said, I say to the players, I'm never going to tell you have to win, but I say we cannot lose. We cannot lose. He was talking before these massive matches. It's very much building that sort of siege mentality. And I don't agree with him when it comes to like a home game against an Arsenal, but that away game at Old Trafford, mate, how many times that could so easily have been an annoying, frustrating 1-0 win for Man United. Despite the form, despite everything, there's so many times. But if we go away and we all our games against the top 6 sides in the away matches, and we can win the home game, then we'll probably be okay. So in the context of the season, I don't worry about that result. I'm left feeling like we could have done more. But this Arsenal game, if we don't win that game, I will feel disappointed. There's no two ways about it. I will feel disappointed. I'll feel frustrated. In that, the only way I'd probably feel right is if it was like 2-0, we're 2-0 down, we come back and manage to get a draw or something. But yeah, I really feel that to make me excited about where we're at right now, we feel like we're majorly ahead of schedule. I need to see us go and win that game.
It's like every time there's an international break, I always say it's like sport can dictate like the whole mood for 2 weeks, right? It depends on the nature of the game. Arsenal might show up and be amazing, which we know they can be. I think everyone's kind of again over dramatizing the fall off or whatever, but like realistically, they've only won 1 FA Cup in 5 years under Arteta anyway. It's not that great. We won a Champions League in that time. Like, come on. But like overall, yeah, I'm looking at this table now. There's no reason why Chelsea can't win the league. We still might get relegated. You never know. It's very much up there. Why would you say that? Why would you put that? Why would you put that in the mix? Why not? I was thinking of a Michael Owen line, and
so it can be that is
if we shoot with the right foot, score a goal with the right foot, it'd be fine, it'd be great. But anyway, I think, what do you have any unrealistic, crazy scenarios for me today to end this podcast episode?
Fantasy scenario. Let's go with seeing as we are playing Arsenal this weekend, and we had that big transfer fiasco where it was, we got Caicedo, they got Declan Rice. I'm wondering what you think it would have been like if it had been the other way around. And we're going into this.
This is a good one.
We're going into this game this weekend. We've got Maresca, they've got Arteta. How do you think Caicedo fits in the way they play? How do you think Rice fits in the way we play? In a fantasy land, how would they influence this match at the weekend?
Well, a lot of people remember that I famously said that Declan Rice is a better player than Moises Caicedo less than a year ago. I've already eaten a slice of humble pie. In fact, I ate the whole cake and admitted that I was very, very wrong in the sincerest manner possible. I think Arsenal might have had a Premier League title, and I think Chelsea are seriously struggling with legs and quality and ability in midfield. I mean, Declan Rice is a really good player, but like it's one of the worst shouts that I've made.
He's not better at distributing the ball than Caicedo. I mean,
no, absolutely not. Caicedo for me is the legs and the engine of the Chelsea team right now. He's becoming like an SCN-esque kind of figure, but also some kind of semblance of N'Golo Kante at times too, where you're like, oh, we're in trouble at that, we're not, don't worry about it, because Moises has got the ball and he's won it back. So, no, I think Chelsea would be in a worse opposition, and I think Arsenal might actually have a Premier League to give a decent answer to the situation. I've got one for you, Harry. Go on. We've fought an incredibly difficult, but it's 3-3, it's the 92nd minute of the game. Christopher Nkunku has come off the bench. Cole Palmer is obviously out there, but there's just been a horrific tackle that's gone in from Declan Rice, and his boot is ripped in half. He's clearly in some pain and he's limping around, but Chelsea have a penalty. And Palmer is adamant he wants to take it, but his left foot looks like it's about to pop. Who takes the penalty?
Palmer. Wait, so Palmer's foot is all mangled?
Palmer's foot is in a really bad way, but there's enough left in him to like just be able to step up and take it. But Nkunku's also there, and he's freshly come on, and he's good at penalties and whatnot. Like, who takes that penalty?
I'd say Palmer takes it with his right foot. But
there we have been
no,
told the different
if his foot's all mangled and his boots ripped in half, it's probably just tell him to take. Actually, no, I'll tell him to take your left foot off and give it to Palmer. That's what I'd do.
I mean, that was probably the deadest question that I could have asked.
It was a bit weird. Neither did I, maybe some of us just couldn't.
So now we have this. And
thank you, Harry. I appreciate that. If you guys want more of this guy, I don't know why you would, but his channel link is in the description down below. Best boxing channel on the internet right now. I can assure you of that. The link is in the description. And yeah, any last words from you, Harrison? Because I'm out.
Any last words? Just subscribe to a guy called Henry. You know what is the right thing to do.
The dividend
payment. I think you'll enjoy yourself over
dividend
there.
paid will open the table.
Goodbye, everyone.
Check whether we don't pay, but we can get the finance.
Yes, guys, welcome back to another 3 More Points podcast episode. In today's episode, we are going to discuss Enzo Fernandez and why potentially we have figured something out that we're going to reveal today that might be inhibiting Cole Palmer potentially, and maybe the choices that we make in this podcast could improve Chelsea, or maybe they don't. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, but we are back, of course, with the co-host of the podcast. He goes by the name of Harry, or he goes by the name of Henry. It's entirely up to you. And I guess it's up to him as well. Henry on his YouTube channel. So Henry,
of 25.
It's the international break.
I'm good, George. How are you? Yeah, that was a mistake that I made a few years back when I initially made the boxing channel, and I've lived to regret it since. So yeah, no one knows what to call me. I don't even know what to call myself.
Buffalo.
Yeah,
try calling the YouTube channel Herder
Forward here is
spelling the name Herder wrong.
28.
That is a double-edged sword of screwing up the name of the YouTube channel. But yeah, it is what it is.
So I am looking forward to the fight. I think it's going to be incredible. Vitoria Pivot's a decent card as well. Yeah, go and follow my channel, guys.
In the evaluation itself,
I quite enjoy watching it. I think Harry's quite nice to listen to sometimes. I get my coffee, I sit there, and as much as he's a very annoying kind of guy.
Which is profit for the year, which is 55, 35.
If people could see the way that George talks to me, it's just utter disrespect. So, like, even there, he's given me a compliment, but it's kind of like backhanded one. So,
if it is not balanced,
you'll all understand. If you actually saw us in the wild, you might have to quite abusive. That's not right. I don't know why.
If you saw us in the wild,
yeah.
in the wild depths of the Balinese rice field. But anyway, speaking of a man that could be about to come and join us in a rice field, Cole Chippy Chips Palmer has just won the England Player of the Year award. I didn't even know that they were going to be doing an England Player of the Year award,
which we paid here of 60
by the players, which I think is a very interesting sign or show of the ability that we know as Chelsea fans Cole Palmer has.
To the positive, or we can say
the world has kind of woken up and realised the actual levels of this man's ability, voted for by the players. I think you said it off camera, Harry, but is this like a little dig at Southgate potentially, or is it just like game recognises game? Classic case of that.
Yeah, it could be a bit of both, really. I don't know. I think there'll be some guys in the camp that definitely were not fond of Southgate. I think Anthony Gordon was a good example of that, and I think Palmer sort of embodied the fact that we didn't really go for it, because if you just took his highlight reel from the Euros, he had some of the best moments of any player in the team. So it was confusing to me that he didn't get more minutes at the very least. I understand when you look at the balance of the lineup, starting him was difficult at that time because he'd had a good season, but there was other guys with just like a bigger backlog of work. But I found it really strange that he didn't at least get more minutes, especially when we were struggling and Foden wasn't playing that well. I thought Palmer would have come in. So yeah, I think it might have been a bit of a dig. And the fact he hasn't even started that many games, he's gone and won the England Player of the Year. It shows how respected he is, as you say. And it's exciting to see how he can kick on now. And really, you're looking at him. He is the best player in England right now. I think you have to work out how to get
cash equivalent at the beginning, 2021. We had a 5-10.
What do you reckon? I think for me, it's like you take him out of the position he is in at Chelsea and you just play him there for England.
If you had a bank overdraft and the short-term invest,
I know that Phil Foden is a great player, so is Bukayo Saka, but like Saka on the right wing, I think,
Left.
yes, you've got to
Left
keep
is a
him there. I
negative.
think he's brilliant. I think the conversation about like Palmer or Saka is
So-
actually the wrong one to have. I think it's kind of just become like a norm in football that you
Yeah,
have
when-
to like, if someone's good,
Also,
there has
cash
to
and
be an
cash
argument for
equivalent
the sake of
net.
argument's sake about is he better than that guy? Is he better than that guy? Statistically, numbers-wise, yes, Palmer
We are
is on
done
his
with
own.
our
He's in his
question.
own league. He's got more
That
goals
is how you-
than anyone in English football, including Erling Haaland in the year 2024.
Not sure.
So for me, I think it's very much a
Yeah,
case
so
of you put him in that number 10 for England, and if it means that Phil
Those
Foden doesn't
cash flow
play
statement
because
so
he
that you
can't play
can
on the left
practice
wing, then I'm sorry,
and
mate.
practice.
But if you were doing the numbers that
Let's
Cole
wait for
Palmer
the
was doing, it
next.
would be you, and then it would be Palmer on the bench. So unfortunately, Phil Foden,
George.
in my opinion, is the man that absolutely.
Or
out.
Quick question, and this is a little. I reckon this would be a big topic of debate. To be fair, and we're starting the pod in a spicy way here. But Palmer as a 10 for England over Bellingham. You've just kind of said that there. You're like, I get it. Bellingham's a 10, but is Palmer a better player than Bellingham as a 10 right now? That's actually a massive question.
Yes, he is. I think Palmer is the best player in the world in a number 10 role right now. And I've said it before, but like I think because it's Cole Palmer and maybe he's still relatively unknown in terms of like the duration of being in this conversation of like one of the best. I think Bellingham for England specifically, sometimes you've got to there is an element, and I think Southgate was conscious of this. You've got to try and get as many of your best players in that side as you can. But like, surely when you look at Bellingham and what he can do, and he's done it at Real Madrid so many times as well, when he drops deeper, he's winning the ball back, and then you saw him the other day, he won the ball back, and then there's no running from Rodrigo and Mbappe, and he's furious. So I think for me, like, if you're looking at the player that plays alongside Declan Rice for England, then just stick Bellingham next to him, and like Rice can just sit there and just sit in front of the defence almost, and then Bellingham can be that box-to-box midfielder that I think he's absolutely best at. And I think that's the way that England have got to go, personally.
Yeah.
But I think Palmer is the best in the world right now in that position, maybe, arguably, the actual best footballer in the world. But it looks like his England teammates absolutely agree with him at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, when you have two outstanding players who play the same position, if one of them's a bit more versatile, they're the one that has to make way. And we know that Bellingham can play deeper, so I think he's the one that's got to make the move, go deeper. And Cole Palmer, for me, he's just unbelievable, isn't he? And, talking about Bellingham being the deeper player, I think it'll be interesting for us to chat about Palmer in the most recent match that we saw. We had that draw against Forest. Firstly, like, what did you make of the game, George? I saw you were live streaming. I was also live streaming. I was streaming the game, not live streaming the game. I was watching it, so I couldn't watch your stream at the same time, unfortunately, because I had one device. But yeah, what did you make of it?
To be honest, it's annoying that we drew in the way that, like, when you go into an international break, the energy of the break is like hinged on that last result. But I think in terms of like the bigger picture of what that draw was, it was a massive improvement on the fixture from last season against Forest, where they basically set up to try and play the same way. I saw a stat where I think Chelsea have faced Nuno 9 times since he's been in English football. We've only won 2 of those games, which really shows the absolute shithousery setup that he goes for in dead football. But like, I think it's smart, and like I've said a lot of praise about Nottingham Forest since that result, even in the 6 things in the video I posted yesterday. But I just think sometimes you've got to look at what you've got and squeeze the life out of it. A bit like Sean Dyche did at Burnley when they finished in the top half. A bit like he's done at Everton, where they've probably got one of the weakest squads in the league, but like he can get enough to keep them there, which I think is the best they can do. So I think to play against a side like that and to have players again like Sanchez stepped up, we said in